we are discussing about the sound insulation. There is nothing but the noise. Okay. Um, Classification. Already we have discussed about the classification of noise based on the source. Okay, whether it is inside the room or unit or outside the unit. Okay. Now another type of classifications are there. Okay. Uh, Based on the analysis of sound insulating problems. Okay, in that airborne noises, then after that structure borne noises, or we can say impact noises, then after that only two types are there. Okay, uh, airborne noises and structure borne noises. Here firstly we will discuss about the airborne noises. Airborne noises or sound is one which is generated in the ear and is transmitted through the ear directly to the human ear. This type of sound travels from one part of the building to another, or from outside of the building to the inside through the openings such as doors, windows, ventilators, keyholes, etc., or though small gaps around door and windows, or by vibrating the partition walls or doors. Okay, so in this way, whatever sound waves are there will get transferred from one place to another place. Then about structure borne noises or impact noise or sound. Okay, here structure borne noises or sounds are those that originate and progress in the building structure. These sounds or noise may be caused due to the structural vibrations due to any activity at, around, above, or below the structure. The most common sources of this type of sound are footsteps, moving of furniture, street traffic, dropping of utensils on the floor, hammering, drilling, operating machinery, etc. Structure borne noise is caused by impact and transmitted as a airborne noise. Okay, here also whatever structure borne noise is there, it will transmit through the ears or through the walls and all those things also. Okay, so these are the classifications based on the analysis of sound insulation problem. Okay. Then some terminologies are there related to the sound. Okay, here first term is there, sound absorption. Okay, sound absorption is nothing but prevention of reflection of sound waves. Okay, means whatever sound wave is there or a sound is there, if any material is going to absorb, means that material will not going to reflect that sound wave, then we can say it is a sound absorption. Okay, sound insulation. Sound insulation is nothing but the prevention of transmission of sound. Means whatever medium is there through which sound is going to transmit. Okay, if we are able to prevent the transmission of sound, then we can say sound insulation. Means sound transformation from one end of a solid unit to the another end. Okay, that is nothing but the sound insulation. Or whatever sound is created into the room, we have to prevent transfer towards the outside. Okay, then to prevent it, we have to go for the provision of the sound insulation. Okay, means various kind of materials we have to provide it, as well as whatever openings are there, those openings we have to kept as possible as a minimum. Okay, then after that sound structure. Sound structure indicates loss of sound energy or reflection at surface. Okay, And then after that, transmission loss, reduction in sound intensity during the transmission of ear-borne sound from the source to the participant. That is nothing but the transmission loss. Means whatever sound intensity is there at source, okay, and whatever intensity is there of the sound uh, at the receiver or at the location of the we can say person, okay. If the variation is there in that lot of, then we can say too much transmission loss is there. And if the variation is not there in sound intensity at both the places, then we can say transmission loss is very low, okay. Then after that, some maximum acceptable noise level is provided in this table, okay, at a different units, okay. uh, in that, first thing is there, studios for radio broadcasting, acceptable maximum acceptable noise level is 25 to 30 decibel. Then for auditoriums, it is about 35 to 40 decibel. Small office, courtroom, and in libraries, noise level is acceptable up to 40 decibel to 45 decibel. And in hospitals, 40 to 50 decibels. In lecture rooms, it is acceptable up to 45 to 50 decibel. In residential buildings, 45 to 55 decibel. Then after that, large offices, uh, maximum acceptable noise level is 50 to 60 decibel, and in the factories, it is 60 to 65 decibel, okay. So these are the acceptable maximum acceptable noise levels are there for particular unit or for particular structure or type of a building, okay. Then next point is there, that is nothing but the noise control and sound insulation, okay. How to go for the noise control and go for the sound insulation, okay. In that, uh, some considerations are mentioned here, okay. Means whatever uh, uh, sources are there, okay, it should be isolated, okay. Means and the first and foremost way of insulating against the airborne noise is to isolate it at a source. Airtight casement and rooms for machinery would achieve this purpose of some extent. Then after that, second one is the selection of location and orientation. Then another consideration is their lining of wall and ceiling by means of air-filled materials like felts, straw, boards, etc. Then after that, here to control the noise, and we have to, when we have to go for the sound insulation, we have to go for the lining of walls and ceilings by means of air-filled materials, means porous material. We have to use the porous material. Then after that, straw boards, or we can say that wide boards, thermocol boards also, okay. Then we have to go for the rigid walls, floors, partitions, okay. uh, it can prevent the transmission of noise from one room to the another room, or from inside to the outside, or from outside to the inside. For that purpose, we have to go for the rigid one, rigid walls, rigid floors, and rigid partition walls also, or partitions, okay. Then structure borne noise can be prevented by introducing discontinuities in the path of vibrating waves or expansion joints, okay. Means here, whenever we are going to build, or whenever we are going to plan the structure or building, at that time we have to go for the expansion joints also. Okay, I think you have seen at the time of construction of the cement concrete road, some expansion joints are provided. Okay, means whatever thermal stresses are or temperature stresses are there, to release it. Okay, we have to uh, uh, provide some cut sections to the RCC roads and all those things. Okay, and due to the variation of temperature, expansion will be there. So some space should be there for expansion and reduction of that structure. Okay, might be you have seen in our college also, whatever college building is there, which is subdivided into the various units, and those units are interconnected to each other by providing the expansion joint. Means if you are considering the uh, diploma side and degree side. Okay, diploma side and degree side building, which is separated by the staircase, and at both the sides of the staircase we have provided the expansion joints, and generally we have to go for the expansion joints in a structure if it is its length is more than the 30 meters. Okay, एखाद्या स्ट्रक्चरची लेंथ जर काही 30 मीटर पेक्षा जास्त होत असेल तर त्यावेळेस आपल्याला एक्सपान्शन जॉइंट्सला जायला लागते. ओके, in that way also you can go for the noise control. Okay, then after that personal protective devices, earplugs, headphones, etc. You can noise control, or you can go for the sound insulation by using the various devices such as earplugs and headphones to the individual persons. Okay, then here also we have to consider the constructional measures. Okay, means whatever walls and partitions, floors and ceilings, then after that windows and doors, insulating sanitary fittings, machine mounting or insulations of machinery. We have to focus on these constructional measures also when we are considering the noise control and sound insulation. You have to focus on these also. Okay, here in case of constructional measures, whatever walls and partitions are there, okay, whatever vertical barriers are there, it should be rigid and homogeneous, and its a thickness of wall affect the sound insulation properties. Means we have to go for the thicker walls as compared to the other walls, thinner walls. Okay, then whatever partitions are there, those partitions should be from prepared from the porous materials. Okay, or we can go for the porous concrete masonry also, or cinder concrete, etc. Or sometimes we can go for the provision of the autoclaved aerated concrete blocks also, because of those blocks are porous, and its density is very much less, but due to the porosity in that blocks, they will be act as a sound insulating material. Okay, as well as we have to go for the hollow and composite partition walls. Okay, or we have to go for the increasing the wall thicknesses and all those things, or sometimes we have to go for the cavity walls also. There will be the benefit of that cavity wall. In two terms will be there. In one term for sound insulating, and another term that is nothing but the for thermal insulation also. Okay, means whatever temperature transformation is there from inside to outside or outside to inside, that will also be minimize it through the cavity walls. Then whatever floors and ceilings are there, or whatever horizontal barriers are there to noise, Generally, we have to use the resilient materials on floors. Okay. Then additional floats over the existing surface by means of resilient materials we have to provide on the floors to control the noise, as well as we have to go for the sound insulation. Okay, this was about unit number 7.